So in today's video, I'm going to show you how to make this specific sandwich. It's delicious, it's heart-centered, it's healthy, and well, it's easy to make. So I'm going to show you in this video. You guys are probably wondering right now, is it even good? So let's take a little bit of bite. I cut it in half. You can choose to cut it in half. You don't have to, but I prefer. Let's cut. Let's eat. Wow. Make this. This is really good. You won't find it at Panera Bread. Really good. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the bell icon, share the video with other people, and let me know in the comment section below if you tried this meal or not. The thing that we're going to do now is we are going to get our ingredients ready in order to make this. So we have this really nice ceramic knife. It's really good, especially if you don't know how to cut or you just want something to ensure that you're safe as you are cutting. So this is just ceramic knife, highly recommended. We also do have as well, we just have a regular traditional knife, especially you want one that has the grit on it. It helps it and ensure that everything is smooth, and so when you do cut the fruits and the vegetables, it goes in pretty smoothly, especially when you're cutting peppers in particular. It kind of struggles a bit, especially you get through that waxy layer. Especially once you break the barrier, this becomes very useful, but this is very important for breaking that barrier. Now we also do have as well, we have a classic hummus. So this is really good. You can use any type of hummus for this recipe, but it is a classic hummus. We got it from Wegmans, really good brand. We do also have here Goya, but you can use any brand of your preference. Again, this is kind of like a customizable type of sandwich you kind of take out after. That's the luxury of having this type of sandwich that I'm making. This is artichoke. Specifically, this artichoke, I believe, if the DoorDash driver got it right, this would be the one that's really well seasoned artichoke. We do also have here as well, so we have the marinated sun-dried tomatoes, which is absolutely my favorite type of tomatoes. So highly recommend it. And then we also do have here Tuscan, under the Tuscan sun, which is garlic bread. Highly recommend it. So that's what we're going to use today. I don't know what this is doing. The camera seems to be struggling to find me. But this is a really good brand. Highly recommend that. And then we also do have here just a regular salad mix. You can use whatever one you want. And you can use whatever type of bread that you want. But my recommendation is fennel, rye, even better yet, garlic bread is really good, especially bring out that flavor palette. And we do have here, we have a garden. So we have freshly picked tomatoes and cherry tomatoes. These are very important for later on, for when you want to put them in. We're going to cook them in the oven for a little bit to be able to get done that more of like that sun-dried tomato, because that's what I'm a sucker for. I love that type of stuff. And we'll also be cutting these into thin, fine little like French fries, but pepper version. And we're gonna put that into the oven as well and cook it. Then we're gonna come back. So I will see you guys in a moment. Let me know if the screen's blurry. Okay, so the next thing that we're gonna do is we are actually gonna take this sharp knife. First, we're going to cut it in half. Now you can do this in multiple different ways that you want to cut the peppers, but I prefer to cut it in a triangle, just like this, and pull, just like that. You can clean it all out, or you can leave some of the seeds in there. Either way is your preference, but I like to make a little triangle, just like this, and then pop it in here. Now what you're going to do is you can either fold it. If you're having difficulty trying to break that wacky barrier, you can either cut it from the inside or you can cut it from the top. Whatever your preference is, I'm going to show you how to do it. You're going to take your knife, you're going to hit it on the top of the cutting board. You're going to slowly graze it just like this. Just like that. Just follow in the movement. Now remember, this is still your own home kitchen, so if you mess up, it's fine. Just move on. If anybody's in your house is judging you, who cares? Alright, so it should look just like this, just off the uniforms. And it should be like one little straight line, kind of like a French fry. And we're going to do this multiple times. That's why it's always better just to have different type of knives. And that's why it's so important, because it actually makes your life easier. You can make your life difficult and hard, or you can just make it easy. That's up to you and up to your preference. I'll show you what this knife can do. Now this knife is very important. It's very great. I actually love it. It only has certain purposes. Right, so you can actually take it, cut it right in half, no problem. But when you start to actually get into cutting it into little French fries type peppers, that's when it starts to become very difficult. So for example, I'll show you. So you have this, to say you only have this type of knife, you cut through, it's kind of getting harder. It's not exactly even, you hear that very loud sound. There's a lot of inconsistency with the cut. As you kind of see that here. Again, if anyone's judging you in the household, then that's a them problem, not a you problem. Just do what works best for you, and that's it. So we're going to make that little triangle once again. And if you have this type of knife, to make it a little easier, cut it in half again. And go from the inside. Go to where there's the path of least resistance. And you will find that it's entirely different. So again, know what type of knife you have. And it will either determine what kind of method you do. So especially if you have a dull knife, go from the inside of the flesh. If you have a very sharp knife, go from the top of the flesh. Whatever you prefer. I like to make this a little bit colorful, so we're going to go with a little bit of yellow, a little bit of orange. I'm going to cut this in half again. And we are going to make that triangle. Now, what's really nice about this type of sandwich is one of my favorites. It's actually something that I made myself, but it's very versatile. I have done this before with meat, bacon. I've done this with ham. You can do so many things with this, so kind of get creative, kind of do whatever you want. Take this as more of like a guiding way to figure out what kind of sandwich that you prefer, what kind of sandwich you like. You can make this vegan, non-vegan, but it is very good regardless, and it actually really is very healing for the soul. So that's what we're doing. That's why I have every different color. So this represents the red here represents the root chakra. This represents the sacral. This represents your solar plexus chakra. So if you know anything about healing, mind, body, spirit, that is essentially what you're doing in the cooking sphere. Now, when we start to move on, we do have our lettuce. We don't need to cut it. So if you want to go ahead and cut yours, feel free. I have red lettuce, arugula, and some other fancy type lettuce in here that I have no idea what it is. But go ahead and use whatever one you prefer. If you really want my really good recommendation, I recommend something like spinach, or even better yet, like butter lettuce or Boston lettuce is really good, especially if you're looking for that more crispiness flavor, but also has that very calm, soothing taste to it. So we're going to transfer this now onto the cooking tray. You could choose to put a little bit of oil on it. It's up to your preference, but again, do whatever you prefer. So we're going to lay this out kind of a little bit evenly if you can. Now, the reason why, you want to be able to provide a little bit of spread in that, because we're going to add the tomatoes on, and when you add the tomatoes, it's going to be very important for you to take off these little type of greenery, because this is a little bit toxic, so make sure there's no green leaves. You can either choose to cut it, or you can choose to just leave it in. I'm going to cut it and have them face down. So as it cooks into the oven, you're going to want to have that juices kind of flow freely, so it cooks. It also provides additional flavor to the pepper. What you're doing essentially is sauteing the pepper in the oven, which is going to be very important because you're going to want that very strong flavor palette without the sensation of it being fresh. Now, if you don't have time or you don't like cooked peppers, I know some people in my real life who are allergic to having cooked peppers, you can actually just eat it fresh if that is something that you do love and enjoy. You don't have to necessarily put this in the oven. I like to put it in the oven, but you can do whatever your preference is. So I prefer little cherry tomatoes, but if you want to use big beefsteak tomatoes, just keep in mind that you get a nice big fat one and make sure it's a little bit on the savory side. So in this case right here, I have kind of like our modern version of a smaller version of a beefsteak tomato. You can use these as well. And again, they're going to become like very similar to sun-dried tomatoes, except with all the additional seasonings. So once you have this all in place, we are now going to pop this into the oven. And what you're going to do is you're going to pop it into the oven, and you're going to first plug in the oven, because that's important, because I forgot to do that step. Once you hear that beep, you're going to open up the oven, and you are going to set the oven onto, if you have a conventional oven, I prefer a conventional oven, but you can do this on your own oven. Everything is a little bit differently according to your preference or what you like and prefer. So what we are going to do now, we're going to put it on bake or air fry. I prefer air fry because it's a lot quicker. So we're actually going to change the time from the original setting, which is going to be 18 minutes. we're actually going to boost that up to 20 minutes. I'm going to put that at 400 degrees. The whole idea is to keep it roasting, but for some of you guys who like a little bit more of a ding, a little bit more of a flavor palette, you can also do something as well as this. I'm going to show you right now. So as you all may have remembered early in the video, I showed you the sun-dried tomatoes, and you can actually pop that in here as well, and it adds that additional flavor. And you can either choose to cut it or you can choose to leave it whole. I prefer to cut it so then I can get more of that flavor spread around evenly on the sandwich when I do get a chance. And I pop that in here just like that. And you can either drizzle everything with olive oil or red wine vinegar or balsamic vinegar. Whatever your preference is, you can season it with salt. You can put oregano on it, thyme, whatever you like, even garlic. But to keep in mind, everything in the oven right now is just being sauteed. So as it cooks, the oil from the sun-dried tomatoes is going to go into the food and it's going to provide additional flavor palette. Now we do have over here as well, we do have our organic olive oil extra virgin, my recommendation. Again, you can use whatever you prefer, but you can just take this a little bit and drizzle. Just per your seasoning or per your preference. Again, you're going to be seasoning everything later, so you don't have to really season it, but that is up to your preference. You can choose to season it now and salt it so you get that extra dehydrated type of scenario, but again, you don't have to if you don't want to. So we're going to season a little bit. And this is like Himalayan salt. This is what we prefer, but you can use any type of salt, but Himalayan is better for your body. But again, what do I know? Then we're going to pop this into the oven at the setting that we have it set to. We're going to turn it on, and I will see you guys in 20 minutes. As I was putting this in the oven and cleaning my hand, and always cleaning your hands is a very important part of the process when you're cooking. I forgot to add the artichokes. So we're going to pull everything out of the oven now. It's not turned on, so I'm not going to use any mitten or gloves. But when you do pull it out and you do figure something out of the oven, make sure if it's hot, use a mitten, use a glove. That's going to be very important because you don't want to have a 3rd-degree burn. Okay, we're going to pop this open. And I'm going to probably cut it in half, but we're going to see if we need to or not, but I have a feeling it's not necessary. Okay, so we're going to pop this out. Actually, I'm going to cut it in half. We're going to lay this down. And this is going to be very important, but again, like I said earlier in the video, you can kind of customize the sandwich to your preference and to your liking. Now we're going to pop it in. Okay, and so as we are waiting for the food to saute in the oven, we're going to talk about and discuss some of the favorite seasoning that I like to use, especially when using it for the classic hummus. So now you can use whatever type of hummus you prefer, but my preference is to specifically use the classic original because you can kind of season it to your liking, to your preference. You can even use the red pepper and garlic, whatever you like, but I like to season it myself. So that is what we are going to do. We're going to use our Tuscan Italian style seasoning, one of my favorites. We're also going to use red crushed pepper, my favorite as well. This adds a little bit of a zing, a little bit of flavor to your hummus. Excuse me. We're also going to use our granulated garlic and also our black pepper as well. So this is what we're going to be using to make our hummus. It's really good, very simple, very easy. Again, what I do is when I season, I eyeball it. But if you're not familiar, use some measurements. I don't need to measure. I'm just going to use my eyeball because it comes from the heart. And so over time, you are going to get familiar with the seasoning and your taste palette. As well, don't over salt it, don't over season it. Just make it right. And if you're not sure how you're doing, check the flavor by scooping a little bit into your mouth with the spoon. And if it tastes just right, keep it as is. Don't add any more. If it does seem like something is off, look online, but if you over garlic, put some parsley in it. If you over salt it, add some sugar, it balances out. So think of the opposite of what it is and apply that. If you're not sure 100%, look it up online before you do anything that you're gonna regret. Trust me, when you cook, it's all about an experience. It's all about learning as you go. This is not going to be a test where you have to know exactly what you're doing, but rather it's a learning experience along the way. So that is what is very important. What you're also going to need is that I completely forgot as well, this is the process of cooking, is a spoon. We're going to go ahead and get that now. Okay, you can even use a butter knife if you prefer, but I prefer to use a spoon, but it's entirely up to you. Alright, so we have our original hummus. Again, I like it because you can season it to your preference. We have our spoon here. We're gonna provide a little bit of black pepper. And this is good because you can kind of make what works best for you. Again, if you over season it, don't worry. Just kind of learn what you like and then go from there. A little bit of garlic. We have our red crushed pepper already added. And then we're gonna finish off with a little bit of Italian Tuscan seasoning. This is the herb aspect. You can add some onions in it, chives, whatever. Alright, and then we're also going to finally season it off with a little bit of pink Himalayan salt. So we're going to add that in. Be careful with the salt because you can overdo it very quickly. That looks like a good amount. I'm just going to add a little bit more. That looks pretty good. Now the next thing we're going to do is add in the olive oil. Now you don't have to add in olive oil, but I prefer to add the olive oil because it really binds everything together and it becomes a little bit more smoother if I can get the lid off, which I'm struggling to do. There you go, a little splash of olive oil is all you need. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna mix everything together. It's just best to kind of take your time, go very slow with this. Cooking is not a race, it's a learning experience, and that's important to know. Because sometimes a lot of people think that you have to be a good cook off the bat, and no, you learn as you go, right? Cooking is an experience, it's an art form. Whether you admit that now or later, it's up to you. But cooking is an art form, and we have to get to that realization as a society that, you know, cooking isn't something that you're born with or not. It's something that you just learn, something that is experience. So don't be afraid to get in the kitchen. Yeah, you may fail many times, you may fail multiple times, but it's all, again, part of that experience that you're looking for. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our spoon that we just made and we're gonna give it a taste test because that's the only way you're gonna know if you seasoned it. Okay, so now that we have seasoned our hummus, we are now gonna give it for a taste test. I'm gonna take a little bit of handy dandy spoon, give it a nice taste. Wow. This hummus is so thick. It doesn't taste bad at all. I like it. But boy, is it hard to swallow. Okay. So, this is Wegman hummus. They make this really good, I guess. It tastes phenomenal. Don't get me wrong. It tastes great. Has a little bit of a lemon thing. What caught me off guard. Don't know where this lemon flavor came from. But it's actually pretty good. It tastes fresh. It tastes good. Just needs a little bit of salt, so that's what we're going to add. And then it should be good. So I want to take this, add a little bit of salt. Again, a little pinch of salt is all you need. Mix it in again, and then give it another taste test. See how it is. Do you like it? Do you not like it? And kind of keep going until it's perfected to your preference. Now this tastes amazing, so I'm not going to add too much to it. There's a little bit of salt. That's all it needs. Now that we have a couple more minutes left in the oven, we're going to take some time to now prepare the piece of bread, the loaf of bread. So I've already got the bread ready pre-made. We are just going to combine the bread together, make sure it looks good. Okay, you can kind of see the ingredients if you are interested. But if you don't see the ingredients, don't see the calories, it doesn't exist. That's how I look at it. But anyway, besides the point, what you're going to need for this next part is aluminum foil. You're going to need something to cook your bread on. We have this little tray. I'm going to actually use the same setting that I'm using right now, which is 400 at 20 minutes. We are only about 7 minutes left remaining for the peppers and the tomatoes and everything else in there to finish cooking. We are now actually going to put that in as it's finished cooking. So it kind of gives it a nice toast, but we don't have to reset it and try to cook the bread separately. Why not kill two birds with one stone by doing it at once? So that's what we're going to do. Okay, so now the next thing you're going to need is you're going to need a plate to prep your piece of bread on. I'm going to use the cutting board. Why create more dishes when you can have less by just repurposing and cleaning? One of the most important ways and one of the reasons why people hate cooking is not only is it like so long to cook, but also it's the cleaning aspect. People hate cleaning, specifically dishes. My recommendation is when you're cooking, always clean as you go. When there's a waiting period, clean. Take some time to clean. It will make your job a lot easier because you can sit down and enjoy the meal without having to rush and clean everything because you just finished cooking. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a nice piece of bread out. We're going to use two in particular. Try to get one that's around even size, just like this. Because the bread is a little bit on the drier side, we are going to add some butter. I did forget to tell you guys you do need butter. I like a little bit of a salty butter. You can use unsalted, whatever your preference is. But we are going to lightly add butter. Now, if you're not adding butter, you do not need the aluminum foil. But because I am adding butter, I do need the aluminum foil because it will seep through. Anyway, what you're going to do is going to take your knife, whatever knife, we use the same knife as before. And we are just going to thinly cut the slice of butter. Now you do want this to be a little bit at room temperature, so it's easier not only to cut, but it's easier to spread. We're going to put 2 slices of butter, thin slices of butter on both sides, and this is going to give us that nice crust that we are looking for in the sandwich. So I'm going to try my best to spread this out. Obviously, as you can see, it isn't completely room temperature, but that's alright because when it does go into the oven, it is going to spread a little bit more. Get back into the piece of bread. As you know, I just ripped the slice of bread. Whoop-de-doo. Accident happened, nothing we can do. What we're going to do is we're going to flip this over. We're going to do the same thing again. Now we have our butter here and our bread already set. We're going to set this aside for a moment. We're going to take our handy dandy tray. We're going to pause the conventional oven. The reason why we're pausing it because there's 4 minutes remaining and I'm not resetting the oven. Because why? It's not necessary. I'm going to take this nice sheet of aluminum foil. We're going to put it in just like this. Kind of fold it in the way that you prefer. So we're going to fold it in the way you prefer, just like this. And then just take your side of bread, which apparently the piece of butter just came off. Again, just slap that on. Doesn't matter, accidents happen all the time. And we are going to take our handy dandy knife and we're just gonna slather it in. The reason why it's melting the way it is because it is a little bit hot in this house. It's around 70 degrees, 74 degrees. So it is a little bit on the hotter side. What we're gonna do is we're gonna pop this into the oven, put it closer to the hottest bar, and we're gonna clip the top side at 2 minutes. We're gonna take it out, flip it, and put it back in for the remaining 2 minutes. Okay, so now as we are preparing to get out the slice of bread and flip it over, you are going to need this little heat mat and some mittens for when you're taking things out of the oven. It's very important for you to get that. And you will also need a spatula, any kind, wood, metal, does not matter, plastic. Just get something that is oven safe and can be used in high heat temperatures. Now we're going to take out our loaf of bread. I prefer it a little bit on the crispy side, so we're going to take it and flip it because it's actually not as hot as it appears. And we're going to do the same for this side. I think we might need to have some more time to toast this, so that's what we're going to do. But we are going to pop this back into the oven once again and continue on with the last final 2 minutes of the sandwich. All right. Now, always when you're cleaning, I like to kind of keep a clean space work, so I'm going to start preparing, putting things away as we get into the final stages of how to make this sandwich. Okay, so since our slices of bread are not ready and well prepared in terms of toastiness level, we are going to pop it back into the oven one more time for about another 2 minutes or 3 minutes, and then it should be good. I'm gonna leave everything else, including the tomatoes, the artichoke, and everything else in the oven for a couple additional minutes with the slices of bread just to kind of finish off that nice toastiness crunch. And then we'll go back. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this on the toast setting. We're gonna set it to about 2 slices on black. The reason for that is it's going to cook because you have a tray on the bottom and you have the tray on the top. And because of that, it's going to prevent all the heat from radiating up to the top. So we gotta put it on the furthest blackest setting to kind of get that crispiness touch that we are looking for. So we're gonna put it on, we'll put it on for about 4 minutes and 10 10 seconds, and then I'll see you back then. As we were waiting for the sandwiches, the bread, and the food to finish cooking in the oven, the next thing that you are going to need is your plating plate. We're going to need one of these. You're going to need a mitten. You're going to need some, I guess, like, I forgot what it's called, the heating mat. I guess that's what it's called. The heating mat is what you're going to need. You're going to need, obviously, your famous piece of lettuce, whatever lettuce preference you want to use. You can use lettuce. I prefer to use lettuce, but you don't have to. You are going to also need all your seasoning that you use and apply in your hummus. This is going to add additional flavor. That's why it's very important for you not to overpower the hummus, because you don't want to overshadow it. And you also want to have the original glaze or balsamic glaze vinegar, one of my favorites as well. So you can use this, especially when you want to put it on your sandwich. Now you can also add some cheese, but I don't like some cheese. I'm lactose intolerant. I do love cheese. You will occasionally see me eating cheese, but it's not needed. So you do need a plate, and you do also need your hummus that you season as well. I'm also going to use the knife that I used prior, not only for cutting, also for the butter, but we're also going to use this for slathering on the piece of hummus. All right. So it looks like we're about done. We're about 1 minute and 30 seconds out from the food from cooking, so I'll see you then. Okay, so now that we know that the sandwiches are done, specifically the bread slices, let's see if they're actually ready or they need some more time. Okay, based on how this looks, it's nice and golden. Let's flip it over. Let's see how that is. Perfect. It looks beautiful. We're going to keep it as is, but I am actually going to toast on the inside because I realized it's a little bit mushy. And so we're going to put it in for another couple seconds, and then we'll take it out and it should be ready. Okay, so now the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to take out this slice of bread. We're going to start plating the dinner plate, or specifically in this instance, you can have this for lunch or you can have it for breakfast. Alright, so I'm going to lay this down. I did actually take this out because it was starting to burn a little bit. That's okay, this is exactly what we're going for. We're going for that more roasted style type of design. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our spatula. We're going to pick it up. Find the side that's the hardest. Go like that. This is the hardest, so this will be the side that's going to face down on. And we're going to do the same thing for this side. This is the crispier side. Put the crispier facing down. There's a reason for this. So when we lather on the hummus spread, we're going to be able to have it stick better without it having any sort of possibility of, becoming very mushy as you bite into it. You want it to be a very crispy sandwich. You don't want it to be very mushy, because that defeats the whole purpose of what we're trying to do here. All right, so we're gonna lay this down on the heating mat, and we are going to take this knife, and we're going to take our hummus spread, and we're going to lather this up. Now you can kind of like put as much hummus as you prefer. I prefer personally to just put as much as I can, just so I don't see the slice of bread, because you just want to be able to just have that taste, because it is going to be going on both slices of bread. So keep that in mind, as you don't want to overload the hummus, because I've taste tested it before. This hummus is more organic, more natural, so it isn't going to taste exactly very smooth. So you want to be very careful with how much you put on, because it does have a thicker paste to it. And having this hole in the center is fine, because we're going to be able to cover it up with some leaf and lettuce. So this will be the side that you're going to add the leaves to. So if anything comes out, it's going to come out from that side, but it shouldn't be that big of a deal, because this is going to be the slice that goes on top of the sandwich. This is going to be the bottom piece. So you see, you can always customize, you can always problem solve as much as you can. This looks like enough. I'm not going to overdo it. We are going to lightly season the hummus with a little bit more salt. And you can kind of add a little bit more seasoning to it if you prefer. I am going to add a little bit more Tuscan Italian seasoning. Not too much, just enough so that we have a little bit of flavor going to the sandwich. A little bit difficult because this thing's not working today, but that's all right. I was going to add a little bit of garlic. You know what? Let's add a little bit of garlic. Garlic can't hurt. So we're going to add a little bit of garlic, a little pinch of garlic here. Perfect. All right, so now that this is established, the next side of the bread, specifically the one on the right with the hole, we're going to take our lettuce that we set aside earlier today, and we're just going to put that on. We're just going to put on any bad leaves of lettuce, just like this, leave it out, and we can deal with that later. Just like that, nice sandwich. And this is gonna be like more of a healthy, focused type of sandwich, so it's gonna be pretty good. So now that we have the lettuce or your lettuce mix that you prefer to choose on this side, we are now going to take our spatula and we are going to take up these peppers, or fried peppers, what you want to call them, pepper fries, whatever you want. But we're going to lightly push them on, and because the hummus is there, the hummus is important because it acts as like a glue. And so you want to like technically glue this onto the sandwich, and look how beautiful this looks already. It looks organic, it looks like something you will buy from a restaurant, very specifically a fancy restaurant, but you can kind of see how beautifully dried up these tomatoes are. This is my favorite. This is how you know the tomatoes are going to be so good, so juicy, and that's exactly what we're aiming for. So we're just going to put this on. You kind of decorate it to your preference. Now you can do the same thing. You can kind of customize it with avocado toast. Whatever your heart desires at this point. Again, this is the good thing about this type of sandwich. You can kind of customize it to your liking or to your preference. I do like to use these sun-dried tomatoes, because sun-dried tomatoes, specifically when I'm eating the sandwich, it does taste very similar to, what do you call it? Almost like a meat version. I'm not vegetarian in any way, but this could be made into a vegan meal. It could be made into a meal with meat, whatever you really want. And that's really what I love about this type of sandwich that I made. We're not going to use everything, so don't feel like you have to use everything that you created. The only reason why I'm touching this is because it's not hot. I let it sit out for about 5 minutes before actually filming. But my recommendation is if you are taking this out of the oven, give it some time before you actually do put everything together. Or if you plan to touch it with your hand, give it some time to cool down before you do go ahead and do it. We are going to provide a nice little bit of a glaze. We'll take our balsamic vinegar glaze, and we are going to lightly glaze the sandwich. Now you can do it on both sides. You can do it on one side. I'm going to do it on both, just so we have that extra flair. And then we're going to combine the sandwiches, and then we're going to give it a taste test. We're going to go like this. Okay, now that the sandwich has been created, we are going to take our handy dandy knife. This comes in very important. And we are going to cut our sandwich right in half, just like this. And we're going to give it a taste test. So now that we finished our sandwich, you guys are probably wondering right now, is it even good? That's what we're going to find out right now momentarily. It kind of feels like when you get plated on this white plate, it feels very much like as if we're eating a Panera Bread. So that's what we're going to find out in today. So let's take a little bit of bite. I cut it in half. You can choose to cut it in half. You don't have to, but I prefer. Let's cut. Let's eat. Wow. Make this. This is really good. You won't find it at Panera Bread. Really good. Hey guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe to Balsamic, share the video with other people, and let me know in the comment section below if you tried this meal or not. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, bye.